You're listening to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MP. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey,
It is time to take a look at SummerSlam 2012, and honestly, the theme is just singles match for the blank blank championship. We got 7 matches, 6 of them are singles matches for titles. Let's talk about the odd one out: CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, the Blood feud with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee.
this has been one of the hottest feuds in WWE all year. Um, I will say this: I was not a fan of the Go Home Show promo on Monday night, and I think it's because they told us right up from the get-go there will be absolutely no uh, way that confrontation. There will be no violence, and that kind of just that. And they made it where it's more about Seth Rollins than it is anything about the actual match.
Yeah, I think
So
the only way I can kind of see that going is just if Punk and McIntyre put their differences aside for like a minute and just beat the poop out of Seth Rollins.
yeah, I don't know. I think I think the idea is that they're going with Seth Rollins wanted to make it seem like he's in charge. Everything's on what he has to say. I think he will call it right down the middle until right at the very end. And I think there'll be a spot where maybe he gets knocked over or something and thinks it's one of the two guys, probably Punk, and he ends up screwing Punk out of the match. So I'm going with Drew to win the match.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one because we've added that Seth Rollins aspect, right? Prior to what happened at the last pay per view, we were just like, okay, SummerSlam will be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. It'll be a big match. They'll end in a way where they do another match at Bash at Berlin, and then we'll rubber match at Bad Blood in the cell. And it seemed like we sort of had this nice little path out for the feud, and now Seth Rollins is here, and playing his part in it, and sort of reviving the Seth Rollins CM Punk stuff that we had heading into WrestleMania prior to the injuries. And now it's like, well, what are we going to get in Berlin? What are we going to get at Bad Blood? Is it going to be triple threats? Are we just going to get Punk Rollins? There's different ways that things can go, and it has complicated, I think, the story a little bit. And sort of, as you say, like the feud is Punk McIntyre. I know Seth Rollins has issues with Punk. I know that feud was hot heading into WrestleMania. And I know that Rollins can talk, and Rollins is a big SummerSlam performer, but it's Punk McIntyre I want to see. That's the. And I want them to get bloody. I want it to get scrappy. Something that I think suits Bad Blood a lot more. But it's, you don't want to see them in a straight up 1, 2, 3 bog standard singles match necessarily. And I don't know how we're going to escalate from 1 to 3 with Seth Rollins now being in the middle. We almost have to deal with him and kick him out of the feud, and then head into Bad Blood. I don't know.
I do think that the element of Seth Rollins being in the match does make it where there will be more leeway, and you will get a more physical match. Because I think Seth won't care if they use a steel chair or something. Because he said basically along the lines of it's referee's discretion as whether or not I disqualify you. So I do think that there will be a lot of leeway giving, and Seth Rollins will end up like just being right down the middle, same calls, same pinfall counts, 1, 2, 3. There will be something that will happen that will kickstart CM Punk, Seth Rollins.
All right, lock in Josh's pick, and let's head over to the mid-card championships. Sorry, tag team championships. You ain't on the card at this point. Let's instead talk about Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. Braun having earned the rematch. Are we going to see the same outcome from last time, or are we going to see Braun break Sami in half?
I will say I think we will see a title change here because of how they ended Raw. At least with the last segment Sami and Braun was in, you had Sami standing tall at the end. You've had this entire feud of him, Braun absolutely just destroying Sami. But on Monday, Sami came out on top. And I think that is the key cue that they gave us to Braun winning the title this time.
Yeah, I think it's never a good sign when somebody stands tall on the go home show. We always talk about that being a bit of a curse heading into a pay per view match. And I don't know, I think the way that Braun Breaker's momentum is right now, I think another tick in his column would be that I don't think they want him to take two consecutive losses to Sami Zayn. Even though they are, Sami Zayn, they are big pay per view. It seems like it's about time. He lost the first one. He gets the revenge here, takes it a bit more seriously, doesn't underestimate the underdog aspect of Sami Zayn, comes out on top and finds himself some singles gold on the main roster. I don't know how many title changes we're going to be talking about, but let's talk about the United States Championship. Logan Paul finally getting around to defending it, and it is against the man that we were calling for to him to defend it against a little while ago. Finally getting around to it, LA Knight.
Um, this should be an okay match. Um, because Paul can wrestle. Knight is all right in the ring. Um, I I think it's time. I think it's time to put some gold on LA Knight. And beating Logan Paul in front of his quote unquote home crowd fans will be pretty good, pretty impactful. And I just think he's ready now. He wasn't ready last year when everybody wanted him to go over Roman. But I think he's ready for a solo title run now.
Yeah, I think when we look back, obviously, Roman and the WWE Championship was never necessarily going to be an LA Knight's future. But a United States title, that definitely can be. I think we've pointed it out last week or the week before. Logan Paul isn't defending the title very often, comparing it to one of Dean Ambrose's runs with the title. Uh, Again, I think just all the stars are aligning in LA Knight's side of things. It's about time Logan drops the title. Big match. LA Knight's been having that momentum for over a year now. Why not hand it over? Uh, let's go into our entrance theme. We'll go into our entrance theme. When we come out, we'll talk about the two women's championship matches and the two world heavyweight / WWE championship matches. The entrance theme for this week is SummerSlam 2013's soundtrack. And you're back to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh. Let's talk WWE Women's Championship. It was the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. She earned herself this spot, and she's going to go up against Bayley with a Tiffany Stratton holding her Money in the Bank briefcase hovering around in the background.
I don't know what to think about this match, to be honest. We were all for Bayley winning the title at WrestleMania, but we forgot WWE has no clue on how to book her as a face, as champion. And that happened.
Unfortunately.
Yep. I want Nia Jax to have. I would love Nia Jax to win the title here, because I think she's earned, based on what she's done since she's returned to WWE. I think she's earned a title reign, and she's been knocking it out on promos. She's been knocking it out in the ring. I think she deserves the title run. The problem is that dang briefcase hanging around. Um, and also the problem is that the briefcase is currently held by a heel that, if they cash in on Nia Jax, turns them instantly face. And I'm not sure I want to see Tiffany Stratton as a face anytime soon. So I have no idea what I want to pick with this match. But I'm guessing, but if you put a gun to my head, I'm picking Nia Jax.
Yeah, I think it is a real conundrum purely because of Tiffany, right? You look at it on paper as a Bayley versus Nia Jax match. Jax has momentum coming from Queen of the Ring. We've seen, as you say, pretty much since her return, putting on decent matches, putting on decent promos, putting on decent feuds. Whereas Bayley, since winning at WrestleMania, well documented how disappointed we've been in the run, hasn't really been able to pull anything off. On paper, it seems like a nice, easy win for Nia Jax, heel champ. Either put Bayley on the run, or you've got a line of people behind her that want to be going after that title on SmackDown. Lots you can do, makes sense, shake it up a little bit and remove one of the weaker points. You're right with Tiffany right there with the briefcase. Are they just going to beat up Bayley enough to have Tiffany cash in? Is Tiffany actually going to hold it for a few more months? I would much rather Tiffany hold on to the briefcase for 2, 3, 4 more months. I don't think we need another SummerSlam cash in here for the women's briefcase. I think we can keep running it. I think Tiffany with the briefcase has legs as a storyline on its own. We don't have to tease it every 10 seconds. Damian Priest ended up holding his for a fair chunk of time. It just became a piece of the wall, piece of the setting. It's a prop, it can tell stories. It doesn't have to constantly be teased every 10 seconds, because then it does make me nervous that any sort of Bayley Nia Jax storyline that we could be telling could potentially go sideways because of this briefcase instead. On paper, I'm picking Jax, though.
Yeah, I've heard rumors that they want to do having her cash in on Nia because they're best friends, and for that storyline and stuff. So I'd be fine with that if it's like 3 months down the run, and you, as you said, she's held the title for the briefcase for a while. But yeah, this is just like I'm interested because I want to see Nia win the title, but because of all the stuff on the outside, it's one of the least interesting matches to me. Just
Almost
because
build a
of that.
pretty funny storyline out of that, right? Like Nia Jax wins the title and Tiffany goes like, all right, you're my best friend, I'm not going to cash in on you. And then after, title defense after title defense, she starts getting frustrated and is like, you aren't losing this damn title. And then is forced to cash in on Nia because she just won't lose.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would have her show up to tease that she might cash in on the other match, just to like change things up, so you're not automatically expecting it for this title. Because technically, she's supposed to be able to cash in on any world title, women's world title that she wants.
Cash in on NXT before any of the big strong signings pop up. Probably not safe for your long-term health.
No, but I would say this: a perfect time would have been on NXT this week, after the heck of a match that Roxanne Perez and Thea Hall had.
It would have been a banger time if she was going to do it. I guess she's just too scared of all those signing rumors and all of the people who are going to get in line for a title shot soon. She doesn't want to take them all on. Don't blame her. Roxanne's going to have a tough few months coming up. Let's talk the other women's world title. Rhea Ripley has returned, jumped back with Judgment Day, cracked down on everything. Dominic Mysterio has pleaded his way back into Rhea's arms, and Liv Morgan is a lover scorned, going into her full crazy era as she defends her women's world title at SummerSlam.
This is the other really amazing storyline that Raw has had over the last 6 months or so. Every beat has hit it out of the park. Liv has hit it out of the park. While Rhea was gone with her injury / getting married. The trying to woo Dominic, trying to get him to go turn on Rhea, only to be heartbroken, and then destroy the Judgment Day's locker room, with the exception of one thing. In the picture that had all the members of the Judgment Day on it, there was one thing not touched. And that was Finn Balor's face. It could. I know we've all expected like Dom to help Liv here, whether intentional or not. I could see Finn maybe getting involved.
Yeah. I think for me, like, this match isn't going to be clean. Somebody will be interfering. Um, Throwing it out there and picking Liv Morgan to retain. This feud will continue. This feud is, as you say, one of the hottest things going right now. Whether it's a Liv Morgan Finn Balor, whether it's the Dominic Mysterio turn, it's going to continue that story and it's going to continue to be juicy.
Yeah, yeah. This is the match that I see for the women being inside the cell at Bad Blood. And I think it's because it's got the most bad blood for possible for women. A lover scorned, uh, a dominant woman that's basically had her place usurped. This is going all the way to Bad Blood. At which point I have no clue who will win that match, to be honest. But I think it's going there. I do agree with you. I think Liv retains here, and it'll be because somebody, purposely or not, helps her. I could honestly still see Dominic accidentally costing Rhea the match.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and then. You know, Bash and Berlin's also there. If it is Finn Balor turning, maybe we get a mixed tag match between the four of them. Heaps of stuff that you can do between now and then. I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's kind of cool in terms of pivoting and working things out that the two biggest storylines are because a Rhea Ripley injury and a CM Punk injury. I know Ripley and Morgan were going to go at it and go into a feud, but I feel like it's been elevated so much by Ripley's injury and her time off and allowing the Judgment Day to breathe and to do this sort of stuff in the background while she's not there. And then the Punk McIntyre stuff coming out of a freak accident. And to a point, even the Seth Rollins Punk stuff getting time to heat up as well. Just some accidental goodness, I guess, coming out of the badness. And then let's look at our World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest, Gunther. You know, a month ago we were calling it a foregone conclusion. Is Gunther 3 counts away from being World Heavyweight Champion?
I don't know. More often than not, he's not choosing to win matches by pinfall anymore.
Is he one tapping Damian away from World Heavyweight Championship?
2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have said yes. But the stuff that I've seen from WWE the last couple of weeks gives me like trepidation about it, because they're making Priest seem more sympathetic each week, and you have Gunther just becoming basically a D-bag, and it's making people actually want to see Priest win and retain, and I could see them doing that. Maybe this will be the World Heavyweight Championships version of Braun Breaker loses round 1 and then wins it at home in Berlin in round 2.
I think it's definitely an option, right? You know, you've got The clear cut Damian Priest distracted by everything going on in the Judgment Day. Gunther's an amazing competitor, takes advantage, gets the win. But you're right, they've made the feud matter. And I think that's why it's gone from foregone conclusion to something that we're sitting around questioning and potentially picking Damian Priest as the winner. It's become a feud. It's been fully fleshed out, um, and when Gunther's being that evil, it's hard to not cheer for Damian Priest. It's hard for him not to become the good guy. And we've already seen, Rhea Ripley also acting as the face in a feud against Liv Morgan. We're seeing these aspects of the Judgment Day. We're seeing these friends coming more and more over to the good side.
I'm still picking Gunther to win, but I won't be surprised with the Damian Priest retention.
That is fair enough. Well, we're down to our seventh and final match, the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes putting it on the line against Solo Sikoa.
This is tough, because the way this match goes depends so much on how they want to view the new bloodline. If you want the bloodline to look strong and dominant, I almost think you have to put the title on Solo, which is weird because I don't think you want to take the title off of Cody yet, because it could end up crushing Cody. It's also dependent on whether or not we actually do get a Roman Reigns return on Saturday or not. Um, I This is tough. I'm going against my better judgment. I'm going with the Solo Sikoa win.
A lot of
Um,
title changes.
well, a lot of title changes typically happen at SummerSlam, so
That is true. Yeah, I think there's just so many outside factors, right? It is a bloodline match. And immediately that being the case, tips the favor into that of the bloodline. Solo has so many people by his side who will help him out, who will make sure that he does have championship gold by the end of the night. And it's really hard to say that, Cody Rhodes will be able to sit there and defend against all of them. Um, it's some of his friends who have been helping him defend Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, been put out of action by the Bloodline. Could potentially see them pop themselves in here. We could see Jimmy Uso return to stop his brother's ascent. We could see Roman Reigns return to stop Solo's ascent. There's a few different bits and pieces. And with this being the really long running storyline with the bloodline, it's hard to tell if we want to move it over. As you said, I think you'd pitched one where Solo Sikoa wins and goes on saying, he did what Roman couldn't, defeated Cody Rhodes, got the title, and brought it back to the bloodline, and then Roman returns down the line. Obviously, Cody Rhodes winning because of somebody's return or because of having some backup doesn't necessarily weaken Solo. Um, Look, it's not going to be a clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. I would
yeah.
be shocked if Cody
Uh,
Rhodes and Solo Sikoa were the only two men to enter those four ropes between bell to bell.
yeah. Um, I'll be honest with you. There is one outcome that I could see happening with Cody retaining that doesn't involve a full-on Roman Reigns return, and that is just playing his music, being enough to distract Solo into making a mistake, and Cody Rhodes being a veteran enough to be able to take advantage of it and win the match before getting destroyed by the uh, the bloodline. Um, I it's Cody will probably retain. I'll be honest with you, Cody will probably retain, but I want to see where they go, what they do with Solo then, because that how that match ends will tell you everything they have about they think about the new bloodline. If it's a straight up 1, 2, 3, he overcomes the odds. There's no interference, nothing. on Cody's behalf, and you don't see Roman, they killed the Bloodline 2.0 at that point. Because at that point, what's the purpose? What's the reason for that to even continue? So I do think Cody needs, if he retains the title, he needs to barely survive, and the retention being because either Roman gets involved directly, or maybe they bring out Heyman and play his music or something, just does a distraction.
There is definitely options. We're going to have to see which one they end up pulling out. But as for our show, we have run out of time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlingIronDup, our Twitter page, twitter.com/WrestlingIronDup, our YouTube page, youtube.com/WrestlingRNDup. And we will see you next week with all of the results from SummerSlam.